Welcome to another video in this series looking at the effects which can be put in place for the archetypes for Xanathar's Guide to Everything for Fantasy Grounds. And in this video we are concentrating on the Wizard. And you can see there's actually only one arcane tradition here, so we've created a level 20 wizard. We've left all the statistics apart from giving him some intelligence, and we've already added in our effects into the War Magic Power Group, and we'll go through those and show you what these are all about. So the first one that we come to is Arcane Deflection. This effects can't really be set up for this because you get a bonus to your AC or to your saving throw after you've been hit or after you've failed a save. So you can't, there's no way that Fantasy Grounds can do that automatically. So there's no real effect for this. The only thing that we've added an effect for is that once we use this feature, it limits your casting to cantrips only to the end of your next turn. So that's really the effect that we've produced here, which is cantrips only. And as just a reminder to the player and the Dungeon Master that that's all that can happen. Now, it says here until the end of your next turn. The Fantasy Grounds takes effects off at the start of the turn, so we have to finesse this somehow. We notice that we have put this into 2 rounds, and the reason for that is if we go into the combat tracker, take it round to the Wizard's turn, if they place this effect on themselves, obviously this is going to last for 2 turns, but we wanted to end at the end of the Wizard's next turn rather than the start. So we need to go into, or the Dungeon Master will need to go into the effects here, and we will see a box with the initiative to adjust on. So at the moment this is going to adjust on 10, so when it comes back round to the Wizard's next turn, this number 2 is going to decrement to 1. So 2 rounds is too much, 1 round is not enough effectively. So what we need to do is we need to adjust this 10 to a figure of, let's say, 9.9, because initiative goes in the highest to lowest. So 9.9 obviously comes after 10. And now when the combat tracker moves on, this number will decrement to 1. Because it's the end of the Wizard's turn, and we've hit 9.9 after we come to 10 and before the next character. So if we just move on through, you'll see that when it gets to the Wizard's turn, the effect is still in place, but when that turn then ends, the effect will be removed. So that's how we would finesse that, and that's why we've got that in as 2 rounds. The next one we've got is a Tactical Wit, and this simply allows you to get an initiative bonus equal to your intelligence modifier. So the effect is fairly straightforward, just int. There's no duration here, and we've set the targeting to self. Now we could give this a name with semicolon there, and that would remind the player and the DM why the Wizard has got a intelligence bonus, initiative bonus. So that's Tactical Wit. Now, Power Surge, this is a tricky one. Effectively what's happening here is that when you use a spell, you can add on a Power Surge to yourself. And then at some later point, you can use that Power Surge to do additional damage to a target. So this goes backwards really from the normal way of doing things, in that you only regain 1 Power Surge, or your Power Surges are reset to 1 when you take a long rest. And when you deal, when you take a short rest, if you have no power surges, then you gain 1. So that's kind of tricky to keep track of. So what I am suggesting here is that we go in and into preparation, and we set this uses per day number here to the maximum that the wizard could have, and the maximum is equal to their intelligence modifier. So we've got a intelligence here of 16, so our modifier is 3. So we've set this to a maximum of 3. And then the easiest way to do this is after a long rest is to tick off 2 of these power surges, because after a long rest it resets everything to 1. And then if you then gain a power surge, untick. So this is the opposite of what you would normally do. Normally you would tick something to say that it has been used, but in this case you're gaining something, so we would untick it. And then you can keep unticking until you've reached your maximum. And then when you expend a use, then you can tick it back. So you would need to, after each long or short rest, because a short rest will reset all this, and as we can see at the end of a short rest with no power surges, you gain 1. So it kind of depends on how much you have. So you need to pay attention to this and sort of finesse it in that way, but I would suggest that that's probably the best way to do it. And ultimately, when you use a power surge, you deal additional force damage to a target equal to half your wizard level. So we've set up an effect to do the damage bit, and we've seen this before. We can set the statistic here to wizard, so that will give us our wizard level, in this case 20, but we need to half that, so we need to put in a negative bonus to bring it down to half level, and then we need the force type damage as well. So that's power surge. Now we've got durable magic. So this one here allows you to get an AC bonus to or a bonus to ACs and saving throws whilst you're maintaining concentration on a spell. So for this to work, you need to be concentrating on a spell. So this will also be removed if you lose your concentration. So the effect is fairly straightforward, really. Durable magic. We set this up AC 2 and save 2, and then we include after the final part a semicolon and then this C in closed brackets. And this tells Fantasy Grounds that this is a concentration situation, and it'll do automatic concentration saves. Another problem with this effect as well is that you're concentrating on a spell, so the duration of this is going to be the duration of the spell that you're concentrating on, and we don't know what that spell might be or how long you need to concentrate on it. I've set this to a minute, and obviously that works fine if the spell that you're concentrating on lasts a minute, but if it lasts 10 minutes or an hour or whatever, then this is going to have to be adjusted to take account of that. But let's see it in operation. Let's swing round to our wizard's turn, and let's suppose that our wizard has got the cause fear spell, just for the sake of argument. We've picked this one because it also is a concentration spell, and funnily enough also lasts for a minute. Now, so our wizard has decided, has cast a spell on Orc 1, and Orc 1 is now frightened of our wizard. So we place this on, and you'll see that the C here also goes with the effect. And then our wizard now places our durable magic effect onto himself, and this too is showing the C. So when we come round to Orc 2's turn, I'm going to switch the manual combat tracker on here just so that we can get definite rolls. Orc 2 is now going to attack the wizard and do some damage. we not cared about how much damage, but we are going to purposely fail the wizard's saving throw. So we'll just put in a 1 here because that'll be a definite failure. Tick the box, and you can see in the chat down here that the concentration effect failed. Notice that he got his effects for his save, so the +2 worked, but the concentration effect failed, and the spells on himself, or the effect on himself, the AC2 save 2, was removed, as was the frightened condition on the orc that he was concentrating on. So you can see that all of the effects which were being concentrated on have come off, not just the one that was on himself, but also the one that was on the orc. So it's important that we put the C in for this. As I said, the main problem you've got with this one is that whenever you cast a spell that's requiring concentration and you want to use this, you're going to have to go in and change the duration here to the same duration as that of the spell. Okay, that's durable magic, and the last one is deflecting shroud. And this feeds off of the arcane deflection thing up here. And when you use that, you can cause magical energy to arc from you, and 3 creatures take force damage equal to half your wizard level. So again, this is fairly straightforward. We have just gone in, we've made a damaging effect, and again we've had to finesse the figure here so that we get half the level, and we've added in the force damage. So that's it for the wizard, and indeed for the video, and indeed for the series of videos regarding effects for the archetypes and Xanathars. So I hope you've got something out of it, and we'll see you in the next video, whenever that might be. Cheers for now.